Welcome to back my channel Coin Worth Million. This channel is a special place where every video brings you new knowledge, entertainment, and exciting experiences. Here Coins Worth you will find informative content, engaging stories, and everything that sparks your curiosity. Our goal is to make every moment enjoyable, help you learn something new, and be a part of this growing family. So join us and start this wonderful journey today. The 1969 United States of America 1 dime, popularly known as the 1969 Roosevelt dime, stands as a representative of modern American circulation coinage that reflects a long story of economic change, artistic representation, patriotic symbolism, and the post-World War II shift in United States currency. Even though millions of these coins flowed through the hands of everyday Americans as small change, the coin carries a deep history rooted in national tribute, war memory, industrial decisions, and the era of mass coinage production. The Roosevelt Dime series itself began in 1946 in honor of Franklin Delano Roosevelt, the 32nd President of the United States, whose leadership during the Great Depression and World War II marked American history permanently. More importantly, Roosevelt played a vital role in supporting the March of Dimes, a grassroots public effort focused on defeating polio, the disease that paralyzed millions worldwide. His association with the campaign made it symbolically fitting that a dime, the very coin named after the charity he supported, would bear his portrait after his death. Therefore, every 1969 dime not only served as a small unit of commerce but also as a historical tribute to Roosevelt's impact on public health and leadership. In terms of its physical characteristics, the 1969 Roosevelt dime belongs to the post-1965 era when the United States changed its circulating silver coinage to base metal alloys due to increasing silver prices that made silver coins too expensive to continue production. Before 1965, dimes were made from 90% silver and 10% copper, making them intrinsically valuable. After the Coinage Act of 1965, the United States Mint switched the dime, quarter, and half dollar to a clad composition of 75% copper and 25% nickel on the outside, bonded over a pure copper core. This new layered structure gave the dime a silvery appearance while substantially reducing production cost. The 1969 dime continued using this clad composition, weighing 2.268 grams, with a diameter of 17.91 millimeters, and a thickness of 1.35 millimeters, featuring a reeded edge, a design element originally intended historically to prevent people from shaving off precious metal from earlier silver coins. Although the modern clad dime contains no silver, the reeded edge tradition lives on, offering both anti-counterfeit utility and a retained aesthetic heritage. This change marked a permanent transformation in U.S. coinage, and dimes like the one minted in 1969 represent the fully established era of non-silver circulation currency. The design of the 1969 dime continues the original work created by John R. Sinek, the chief engraver of the United States Mint, who sculpted both the obverse and reverse of the Roosevelt dime. The obverse features a left-facing portrait of Franklin D. Roosevelt, sharply designed with realistic texture in the hair and facial lines to emphasize wisdom and leadership. Below his neck truncation lie the letters J.S., representing Sinek's initials, although historically, some conspiracy theorists in the late 1940s mistakenly believed J.S. stood for Joseph Stalin, which created unnecessary controversy that was quickly dismissed by the Mint. Around Roosevelt's portrait are the inscriptions, Liberty, on the left side, the motto, In God We Trust, beneath the chin, and the Mint year, 1969. On the lower right side, small details of the face, such as the eyes and forehead lines, give Roosevelt's depiction dignity and resolve, as if symbolic of his role in guiding the nation through crisis. On the reverse side, The 1969 dime carries a powerful set of symbols that represent liberty, unity, and strength. At the center stands a torch, representing freedom and enlightenment. On the left side of the torch is an olive branch, symbolizing peace, while on the right side is an oak branch, representing strength and victory. Together, these three elements portray the theme of America's perseverance with harmony and discipline. Surrounding the design are the inscriptions, United States of America, at the top, and the coin's denomination, 1 dime, at the bottom. In the center, splitting the design horizontally, appears the motto, E pluribus unum, meaning, out of many, one, a motto emphasizing America's unity through diversity. Every detail of this reverse design conveys that the coin is not merely a piece of currency but a symbolic artifact communicating the nation's values. The 1969 Roosevelt dime was minted at 2 major circulation mints and 1 special mint for collectors. Philadelphia Mint, no mint mark. Denver Mint, D mint mark. San Francisco Mint, S mint mark, proof only. The Philadelphia Mint in 1969 did not use a mint mark, as was traditional until 1980. The absence of a mint mark on a dime from this period automatically means it was struck in Philadelphia. The Denver Mint used a bold, D, mint mark placed to the right of the date. The San Francisco Mint produced only proof coins, high-quality collector strikes made with polished dies and mirrored surfaces, bearing the S mint mark. Mint marks are small, but their importance in numismatics is enormous, as they help identify rarity, production differences, and collector desirability. Mintage figures play a central role in determining the availability and potential value of coins. In 1969, Philadelphia struck 145,790,000 dimes, while Denver struck significantly more, approximately 563,323,870 coins, making it the dominant producer for that year. The San Francisco Mint produced 2,934,631 proof dimes, a relatively small figure compared to circulation strikes. These proof coins were never meant for everyday transactions but were sold in special collector sets. The high mintages of circulation coins imply that the 1969 dime is not rare in circulated condition. However, truly gem-uncirculated examples, especially those graded extremely high, mint state 66 to 68 or proof 68 to 70, become much more valuable due to their scarcity in pristine condition. Errors and varieties from 1969 add layers of interest for collectors. Some of the most valuable error coins include off-center strikes, missing clad layer errors, double die obverse (DDO) coins, and misaligned dies. Missing clad layer errors can reveal a brownish copper surface, drastically increasing collector value. Dimes with dramatic off-center strikes where part of the design is missing become highly desirable depending on how much of the coin is blank, typically between 10% and 60% off-center commands premium prices. Double die obverse errors show doubling in the lettering or Roosevelt's portrait, although major doubling on 1969 dimes is rare, making any dramatic example particularly valuable. Some coins also exhibit weak strikes and die fatigue, leading to loss of detail in the hair and torch flame, especially on heavily circulated examples. Each of these varieties illustrates the complexities of minting technology during mass production in the late 1960s. In terms of collector value, circulated 1969 dimes usually hold minimal premium above face value due to high mintage. However, uncirculated coins graded by professional grading services such as PCGS or NGC can fetch notable sums. Mint State MS examples graded Mississippi 65 or higher may range in value from modest premiums to significant prices depending on grade. The most valuable are proof S dimes with cameo or deep cameo finishes, where the frosted design stands boldly against a mirror-like background. These can command strong values in grades of PR68, PR69, or PR70. Rare errors may fetch from tens to hundreds of dollars, sometimes even more, depending on their uniqueness and visual appeal. The 1969 dime, though commonly overlooked as pocket change, reflects an era of economic transition as America fully embraced clad coinage. It stands as a snapshot of U.S. industrial decisions, patriotic symbolism, and homage to a president who shaped modern public health. Numismatically, it bridges the past silver era and the contemporary coinage system. Historically, it carries Roosevelt's memory. Economically, it helped stabilize a nation undergoing inflation and metal value imbalance. Culturally, it preserved a tribute to the defeat of polio and a leader who inspired nationwide hope. Thus, the 1969 one dime is more than just a tiny coin worth 10 cents. It is a story minted in metal, a circulating monument in every pocket, and a symbol of a nation that honored its leader through the smallest yet meaningful denomination. Next coin. The 1986 United States of America one dime, commonly referred to as the 1986 Roosevelt dime, belongs to the long-running series of American 10-cent coins that bear the portrait of President Franklin Delano Roosevelt, the 32nd President of the United States, a leader whose policies rebuilt America during the Great Depression and whose determination guided the nation through the Second World War. The Roosevelt dime was first issued in 1946, immediately after his passing, as a memorial tribute to his commitment to public welfare, particularly his personal fight against polio and his support of the organization that later became known as the March of Dimes. The 1986 dime, though common, thus carries within its small metallic body the symbolic legacy of Roosevelt's fight for public health, social reform, and American unity. It is not merely pocket change, it represents an era of American civic values, and by 1986, the design had already circulated for 4 decades without interruption, marking its importance as a permanent fixture of U.S. currency. The physical composition of the 1986 dime reveals the transformation of U.S. coinage over time. Beginning in 1965, due to rising silver prices and economic instability, the U.S. Mint replaced the traditional 90% silver dimes with a copper-nickel clad composition, which continued to be used throughout 1986. This modern composition consists of outer layers of 75% copper and 25% nickel, bonded to a pure copper core, creating a sandwiched structure that maintains a silvery appearance while remaining inexpensive to produce. The coin weighs 2.268 grams, has a diameter of 17.91 millimeters, a thickness of 1.35 millimeters, and a reeded edge composed of approximately 118 tiny vertical grooves. While the reeded edge today is mostly decorative, it originally served a practical purpose. In earlier centuries, it prevented people from shaving off small amounts of precious metal from the edges of silver coins. Even though the 1986 dime contains no silver, it continues to carry this historic feature as a form of tradition and security. The design of the 1986 Roosevelt dime remains unchanged from the original work created by John R. Sinnock, the 8th chief engraver of the United States Mint. The obverse front of the 1986 dime displays a detailed left-facing profile of Franklin D. Roosevelt. His hair is styled in a modest wave, engraved with fine lines that give depth and realism. The inscription, Liberty, curves along the left edge of the coin, while the national motto, In God We Trust, rests just below Roosevelt's chin. Slightly behind his neck, the engraver's initials, JS, appear, though historically, these initials sparked unnecessary controversy when the coin was first released, with some people falsely claiming that they represented Joseph Stalin, a rumor that was quickly dismissed by the mint. To the lower right of Roosevelt's profile appears the year, 1986, and just beside the date is a small letter representing the mint mark for certain coins, indicating where it was produced. The reverse-back design of the 1986 dime continues to utilize symbolic imagery reflecting American values of freedom, peace, and strength. At the center stands a torch, representing liberty and enlightenment. The torch flame is carefully engraved to express vitality, while the torch's vertical ridges signify structure and determination. On the left side of the torch appears an olive branch, symbolizing peace and diplomacy, and on the right side is an oak branch, representing strength, resilience, and military victory. These three motifs, together, peace, freedom, and strength, encapsulate the core identity of the United States during the mid-20th and late 20th centuries. Above the design arcs the inscription, United States of America, while below is the denomination, 1 dime. Between the branches lies the motto, E pluribus unum, meaning, out of many, one, a phrase that highlights American unity through diversity. The 1986 Roosevelt dime was produced at 3 U.S. Mint facilities. Philadelphia, no mint mark in 1986. Denver, D mint mark. San Francisco, S mint mark, proof only. The Philadelphia facility produced 1986 dimes without a mint mark because Philadelphia continued this tradition for circulating dimes until the late 20th century. The Denver Mint, marked with A, D, was a major producer of circulation coinage, while the San Francisco Mint exclusively struck proof dimes, which were included in collector sets and not intended for everyday use. Production numbers for the 1986 dime reflect the high-volume minting of late 20th century circulating coins. Philadelphia struck hundreds of millions of 1986 dimes, and Denver also produced a similarly massive quantity, ensuring the coin's common availability in circulation. The San Francisco Mint, however, struck a much smaller number of high-quality proof coins, created using polished dies and specially prepared planchettes to produce sharp designs with mirror-like fields. Some proof examples exhibit cameo or deep cameo contrasts, where the frosted portrait stands out dramatically against reflective surfaces, greatly increasing their desirability among collectors. Despite being a common coin overall, the 1986 Roosevelt dime becomes collectible when in exceptionally high grades, particularly those that have never entered circulation. Professional grading services such as PCGS, NGC, and ANACS evaluate coins based on strike quality, surface luster, absence of scratches, and eye appeal. Most 1986 dimes found in pocket change will grade between very fine, VF, and about uncirculated, O, due to wear. Uncirculated coins graded mint state, MS, especially in Mississippi 66, Mississippi 67, or Mississippi 68, may carry significant value, as pristine examples are uncommon due to mass handling during bank bagging and commercial distribution. Proof coins graded PR69 Deep Cameo or PR70 Deep Cameo can command strong premiums among modern collectors. The error varieties of the 1986 dime offer especially interesting value potential. Some examples were struck off-center, where parts of the design extend beyond the coin's border, producing dramatic misalignments. A few rare pieces display missing clad layer errors, exposing the brownish copper core beneath a partially or fully stripped nickel exterior, making them instantly more valuable. Other error types include double die obverse (DDO) doubling, die cracks, filled mint marks, weak strikes, and late-stage die deterioration that produces a worn-out, mushy design. Off-center errors showing more than 50% blank area or missing metal errors with clear exposed copper can fetch tens or hundreds of dollars, depending on severity and eye appeal. Economically and historically, the 1986 dime represents a fully stabilized era of modern American clad coinage. By the mid-1980s, the public had long accepted non-silver coins, and the U.S. Mint had perfected the technology of clad production. Unlike earlier change, the 1986 dime had no intrinsic metal value beyond its face value. Its worth lies chiefly in its symbolic meaning, collectability, precise craftsmanship, and function as legal tender in everyday American life. It circulated during a decade marked by technological growth, Cold War tensions, expanding consumerism, and major advancements in medical science, ironically echoing Roosevelt's legacy with the continued battle against diseases globally. Collecting 1986 dimes may appear simple due to their abundance, yet serious collectors focus on high-grade examples, cameo proofs, and rare errors. This elevates the coin's status from ordinary change into a legitimate numismatic piece. Even though it is still found in circulation today, its historical value will continue to grow as decades pass and pristine examples become scarcer. Thus, the 1986 Roosevelt dime is not merely a small metal disc worth 10 cents, but a living representation of American history, economic transition, artistic legacy, and the spirit of public service embodied by President Franklin D. Roosevelt. It is a tiny monument to resilience and progress, a symbol carried unknowingly in the pockets of millions, silently telling the story of a nation and of a leader who forever changed it. Please like and subscribe to my channel.